Can the Spider-Man come out to play?
Hey, shh.
Good morning, Vietnam!
That's right.
I've never seen that movie. I'm more familiar with it from The Office.
What movie is it? Platoon?
No, Good Morning, Vietnam.
That's not the name of the movie.
Welcome back, everyone, to Not Another Needless Sequel, where we watch movies and propose unnecessary prequels, sequels, reboots, and remakes. My name is Kane. With me is my co-host, Kelsey.
Hey.
This week, we're taking a look at 2002's Spider-Man, and as always, there will be time codes below. What did you rate the movie?
You just look smiley because you rated this movie high, probably. I rated it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, his face immediately dropped.
Why?
There was just certain parts of outside of the Green Goblin Spider-Man that I didn't really care for.
Like what?
Why are you so defensive?
Let's hear it. What do you got to say?
I think the stuff between him, Harry, and Mary Jane is just overly cheesy. It made me think of Twilight.
I don't want to change your mind. You're allowed to have this opinion. I do want to say a bit of knowledge that I have that the way that Sam Raimi specifically thought about the dynamic of Peter and Harry was a father-son versus father-son in the sense that Uncle Ben and how he raised Peter and how he comes out versus how Norman is raising Harry and how eventually Harry comes out. And you see like two totally different relationships. Even Ben not being Peter's real father, he loved him more than Norman seemed to love Harry.
Oh, 100%. It had nothing to do with that. It wasn't necessarily the storyline. I don't know if it was just the acting. Like, Tobey Maguire's acting when he's like, oh, how did that get in there? Like, that's funny to me.
That's not this movie. That's him
preparing
to propose. You're
right.
criticizing acting for a different movie?
No, but I'm saying that Tobey Maguire's acting wasn't bad. It's Mary Jane's and Harry's that was just a little off for me and made it just not believable.
Well, Kirsten Dunst is a fantastic actor, especially these days, whether she's improved or not. We'll never know about James Franco if he would have got better because he died. But
I do agree that Kirsten Dunst is a good actress. And I think that maybe it was just written for her to play it awkward like that. I don't really know.
That's so weird because I thought that I like them together. I feel like they do have a level of chemistry. I think that there's a funny scene I want to mention. Let me just hold on. I rated it a 5 out of 5. This is a perfect fucking movie, first of all.
Perfect. Okay.
It has it all. Goddamn action, fucking drama. There's emotion.
What's your favorite line of the movie?
It's when
deliver us from evil.
It's when Peter and Mary Jane are in the lunchroom and Mary Jane looks at him and goes, oh, blue eyes, I never noticed. And he looks at her and goes, and then she goes, as a response to his awkward smile, she goes, okay, see you later. That's my favorite line of the whole movie. The budget for this movie was $139 million, and it left the box office with $826.8 million. On Rotten Tomatoes, Spider-Man was given a positive reviews by 90% of critics and 67% of general audiences. I do want to point out that last week's movie, Eurovision Song Contest, had 77% of general audiences approving it, so general audiences ain't shit. This
was better than Eurovision.
This was the first film to gross $100 million in its opening weekend alone at the domestic box office.
Because this was in 2002?
Yes, at the time, no movie had done so, even when adjusted for inflation. Like, this was a fucking banger. And
it was a good movie. I'm not discounting that.
It changed my life forever.
I feel like we just need to back up for a second and let all the people know how obsessed with Spider-Man you are. He's currently wearing a Spider-Man hoodie. Completely obsessed with Spider-Man. So I feel as if the rating is possibly a little biased. I could argue for a 4.5 out of 5. I'd even give you that, but it is not a perfect movie.
If somebody told you this movie wasn't a perfect movie, somebody lied.
Spider-Man 2 is better.
Starts off with that absolute peak introduction of the credits and the webs and the music, just building up all to little Peter Parker not able to keep up with his fucking bus because he's a little nerd. And
He ran 8 miles.
yes, I saw the signs, and based on what Mary Jane said, he followed that bus for 8 miles. He was already a peak human being. Like, for them to treat him like
The
that,
stamina.
he would have been the fucking captain of the track team. They got him in chess. Anyway, they are going to a field trip at the Columbia University, and they're obviously looking at fucking spiders and stuff. You got 32,000 species of spider there, which I think is crazy. They, when Peter's taking pictures of Mary Jane, he gets bit by the spider. This is standard shit for him. If you know anything about Spider-Man's lore, he gets bit by this genetically modified spider. The whole time they're going through the spider lab, she's pointing out different spiders and saying what they're like, I don't want to say power, but something that they can do that's impressive. And it's all like telling you what his powers are going to be. The spider that bit him, I was saying it was fake, and you were right, it was not fake. So the one that bit him was not a black widow, but a Stetoda spider, which they painted red and blue while it was under anesthesia.
How do you put a spider under anesthesia?
I think
you
they
know what I
gassed
think?
him.
I was gonna say they just put a bunch of nitric oxide gas and just in the tank.
Yeah.
And just.
And then you just have to finally paint it. And also, you can't get it off. That spider just looks like that now. You just made a clown spider.
I could have just crushed
All its
him.
friends are gonna
afterwards.
make
All of this is literally giving me the like.
Heebie-jeebies?
The
Are your
heebie-jeebies.
heebies-jeebied?
My jeebies are heebied, actually, and I'm not okay. For all you listeners, I am deathly terrified of spiders.
Yeah, that was a rough scene for you where they showed them all.
Like, not okay with spiders at all. Can't even look at them. Can't talk about them. It's not okay.
You know, obviously this scene shows how in love with Mary Jane Peter's always been. His best friend Harry starts hitting on her, which eventually leads to something. But after Peter gets bit, the very next day, you know, he feels better after feeling like shit. He wakes up, he's grown fucking 2 to 3 inches of muscle mass across his whole body. He doesn't need his glasses anymore.
His glasses actually make his vision blurry.
Yeah. So, like, he's perfect and doesn't tell anyone. But when he goes to school, shit starts happening. Like, his hand is getting stuck to the bus when he's trying to catch up. When he actually is in school, he is eating lunch, and a web comes from his hand and gets stuck on his tray. When he first goes into the lunchroom, or when he's sitting down at the lunchroom eating, before that happens with the webs, Mary Jane walks by and she slips on a very noticeable puddle, but she didn't see it, I guess, and he catches her and catches all the shit on the tray. That's real, allegedly. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's not real. It is. They shot, so that moment took 156 takes for them to pull off. They almost just scrapped it. They were like, this is, like, it was supposed to be a 2-day shoot, and then the studio said, we got to do this in 1 day, and they just kept trying it, and he catches all that shit. Now, granted, I'm sure they dropped it a very specific way, whatever. It wasn't just Tobey Maguire, but that's impressive.
You think they got to 155? They're like, dude, we got to stop, and he's like, one more.
Yeah, maybe so. So, you know, that's the scene where Mary Jane notices his eyes, and he's awkward about it. I feel like it was such an uncomfortable, like, her head nod was very much just like, wow, this is weird. She went, okay. Like, she was uncomfortable.
You do that to me, too.
But when she walks away, Peter accidentally, basically, because the web's connected to his food tray, he pulls it, and it flies backwards and hits his bully, Flash Thompson. It is actually Joe Manganiello's first, debut as this character. He was... Well, let me say, he gets hit with the food, he looks, and he sees Peter Parker walking away. Not to mention the fact that in a week, Spider-Man is going to be news all over New York, and no one in this school is going to remember that Spider-Man, or that Peter Parker had a web hanging from his hand.
Well, maybe nobody noticed because they don't pay attention to him.
You're right, that's what I'm going with. But Flash goes to fight him for that, very memeable scene. I don't want to fight you, Flash. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to fight me neither. His hands are all up here. He's all fucking like fighting like he's a boxer. Like, this is a school fight, and you think of Peter Parker as lesser than, so why are you prepared like this? Anyway, that's the first reveal of his spider sense. I love the spider sense in this movie. Like, the noise that they do with it, and the way it slows down, I don't think they've nailed it in any other movie yet.
You don't think they did it in Far From Home?
It was all right. I just don't think it's as impressive whenever Tobey Maguire's goes off. Like, it's a lot more like, hey, lock in, like something's about to happen. Everyone else's just doesn't come off that way. So he's noticing that everything's in like slow motion for him. He's dodging the bully. He's swinging like crazy. They actually offered Joe Manganiello $100 to crew members to actually punch Tobey Maguire because, as you may know, Tobey Maguire is allegedly a huge dickhead, like or in real life. Who knows? That's not what this is about. It's just funny that 2 crew members hated him so much. They're like, just hit him for real. He didn't do it because he was worried he would never work again. Like I said, it was his first big role. And he's like, it was fine. I don't wish I had done it. Like. But imagine the news that the first Flash Thompson got fired because he broke the jaw of Spider-Man.
Damn, I know.
So anyway, with Spider-Man realizing his powers, he has a scene where he learns about his webs. He learns he can stick to the wall, and he has a conversation with Mary Jane where she runs off and gets in a car, and he decides like, oh, I need a nice car. That's how I'm gonna, impress Mary Jane.
Him flipping on the ads, and it goes from like the super expensive to like the cheaper car, the cheapest car he sees, which is like $3,000, to directly below the $3,000. Not on a different page. They didn't finish it out with cars. They were like wrestling, $3,000.
Right, they were trying to lure them in. Before that wrestling match, there's a scene of him practicing with his webs in the room.
Go web, go.
Well,
that's after.
No, when he's in his bedroom, he's already just shooting shit, and you think like, that's weird. Or at least I thought, every time I see this, I'm like, that's weird. Why is he doing it in here and just breaking shit? The reason, and also, actually, before I tell you the full story, later on, when he gets driven to the library, when he's actually going to his wrestling match by Uncle Ben says, you have all those weird experiments in your room? And you're like, what does that mean? He was supposed to have web shooters. As you may know, Spider-Man has web shooters he creates by himself. He designs the web fluid, and he has to reload his web shooters, but not this Spider-Man. This Spider-Man has organic webbing, which has been seen in the comics before. It's not like they made it up, but they initially shot that scene. You can actually still find scenes, if you're interested, where during that scene when he's shooting all over the room, he has web shooters on. And those are the experiments that he did. So that scene was initially filmed before they did that, go web, go, because they decided to do organic webbing. Sam Raimi said it's because he thought it was more credible to have a high school kid have organic webbing than come up with some kind of miracle fluid like that. Fuck it, I say.
But isn't Peter Parker like a genius? So in theory, he could have come up with that.
I think he was trying to stick realistic as possible,
Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
I understand. I like it for this movie. I also really like web shooters. Like, I'm okay with whichever way they want to do it.
He's okay with anything Spider-Man.
Allegedly, Tom Holland is getting organic webbing in this next movie, so we'll see. People are kind of mad. They're like, he already has the web shooters. Like, they're going to do a thing. He's going to have a transformation. He's going to get some buffs to his powers. Anyway. So he has Uncle Ben drive him to this wrestling match, pretending it's the library. Uncle Ben is like, hey, man, I know you're going through a lot, but, like, can, you not beat up people at school? Because he fucked up Flash Thompson, I guess, for a punch. Now, granted, everybody treats him weird. I feel he defended himself.
Agreed. They all made fun of him, and then Flash wants to fight him, and then they still made fun of him.
Yeah, and he gets beat up, and then they're like, you're a freak. Excuse me? Anyway, Ben says, hey, I love you, don't be mean. He says, you're not my father, fuck you. And then he goes to his wrestling match, and...
You're going nowhere.
Yeah, Bonesaw McGraw, which is...
Bonesaw is ready.
What was his real name?
Or his real wrestling name? Randy?
Yeah, it was the Macho Man Randy Savage, so he's doing that, his voice, You've also got Bruce Campbell there as the wrestling announcer. That's his cameo in this movie. And he shows up and he gives him the name. He's like, what's your name, kid? He says, the Human Spider. The Human Spider? Oh, that sucks. And that's how we get the name Spider-Man in this universe, because he comes out and he's like, I'm not saying that. And he announces his entrance into the wrestling match.
And he's like, it's the Human Spider. You got it wrong. The Human Spider.
So my thing about this fight is, why is Bonesaw straight up trying to kill this man?
Yeah, Bonesaw is
As far as
ready.
everyone in this match understands, this is a skinny human being that has showed up to fight this buff-ass wrestler. And he hits him with a chair, with a crowbar. He's throwing him into metal. If this was a normal dude, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
Luckily, Spider-Man wins. I mean, he does make a homophobic comment, I will say. When he's like, that's a cute outfit. Did your husband make it for you? Well, what if he did, Spider-Man? What kind of Spider-Man are you?
Yeah.
Imagine
that's
showing
true.
up to the Spider Society and finding out you're the sexist, homophobic, racist Spider-Man. Any one of those. Like, anyway, after the wrestling match, he goes to get his $3,000 after winning, and the guy gives him $100. Don't get me started on this fucking math. I'm not good at math, but this scene always pisses me off because he's like, $100. The ad said 3,000, and the fucking promoter says, "Check again, webhead. The ad said $3,000 for 3 minutes, and you pinned him in 2. For that, you get 100."
You'd have thought he would have got 2,000.
Exactly. Who the fuck? What is this?
Yeah. But essentially, the guy then gets robbed. Karma.
Yes, and as the robber's running out, Peter lets him go because the guy just shit talked. Now the guy, when Peter says to the promoter, "I need that money," the promoter leans in. "I missed the part where that's my problem." And as that robber runs by, and then the promoter runs up to Peter and is like, "You could have taken that guy apart. Now he's going to get away with my money." You can see Peter Parker's eyes lighting up, you know? And
Yeah.
now look at me with this opportunity.
Yeah.
And he just says, "I missed the part where that's my problem."
The guy kind of looks at him and is like, touche.
The promoter just shakes his head, backing up. You got me.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, the guy that robbed the wrestling match goes outside, tries to jack a car.
And kills Uncle Ben.
Now, actually, Sandman is there, but we don't know that until the third movie. Sandman is there trying to help Ben out of the car peacefully. He's like, "Hey, man, we're going to take your car. Like, sorry, you got to go." And Ben's like, "Don't do this, son." And the robber runs up. He's like, "Come on, what are you doing?" And he shoots Ben and gets in the car. And, Sandman doesn't even make it. That's unrelated to this movie, but it's sad. Peter runs outside and he finds, just a crowd, and he's trying to push through, and he sees it's his uncle, and he pushes in. And it's so sad because there's not a moment of Ben holding his hand to say, "With great power comes great responsibility." He's in fear that he's dying. Like, you just see him say, "Peter, Peter." Like, that's it. He knows he's dying, and he's just in fear for his life. Like, it's sad. It's just depressing. The "great power, great responsibility" line actually comes in the car beforehand. He says to him that line that he lives by. And, before I jump to what is probably my favorite part of the whole movie, I don't even know. Let me tell you a little bit what's going on with Norman Osborn and Oscorp. So he owns the company Oscorp, obviously. They're working on human enhancement trials, which, without it being said, is as a result of Captain America in universe, because they want to create the super soldier serum. But they're losing funding. The main scientist under Norman doesn't agree with using the formula on human trials, so...
It's because it's failed.
Yes, it's caused aggression in rats, they said. So Norman is like, "You got to do what you got to do." He runs it on himself, and he becomes the Goblin, or at least he has the Goblin persona in him, because he starts talking to himself. What I like that they do with that is when he's talking to himself in the mirror, they have prosthetic teeth for Norman Osborn, but when he's talking to himself in the mirror, it's Willem Dafoe's normal teeth, so it's like a less perfect look, and so you can see that this is like another personality that he's interacting with. But he's become now the Green Goblin, using all this stolen technology from his own company, and he's killing his competitors. Quest Aerospace, he just fucking kills a random soldier, all the people in there. And
It was like a military general.
yeah, like he's making some fucking moves, all just to keep his company going. Now, after Uncle Ben dies, Peter Parker, after the funeral, that we get a little time jump where they graduate high school, they get into college, and he becomes Spider-Man full-blown. He designs the new outfit, and you get this scene where they are you're getting newspaper clippings, little cuts of him fighting crime. You're getting the people of New York talking about it, and I fucking love that they have random people in New York talking about it. Like, it feels so New York because you see all kinds of different people. You see the guy down there singing like a country song about him. Dresses like a spider, looks like a bug.
In the subway, he does, yeah.
We should all give him one big hug.
Yeah.
Look out, woo! Here comes the Spider-Man. That criminal, he stinks, and I don't like him. Some kind of wackadoo or something, I don't know. That's the cop. My brother saw him crawling in the Lincoln Tunnel. All kinds of shit. Just everybody, like, it's cool because it would start out like that, like a rumor, especially in a place in, like, New York, you know? There's not like oh, hey, there's a new superhero now. It'd just be like, have you seen that? Like, what the fuck was this? Did you see somebody swing around that? It's crazy. On top of that, the swinging looks so good. I feel like it feels like he's above New York, you know? And I don't think we've gotten that in Tom Holland's Spider-Man yet because he hasn't been in New York City as much. So you haven't felt the, like, speed of his swinging, I guess. I don't know. He swung around on Titan, I guess, but it wasn't the same. Anyway, that transition is amazing, and you see him start selling pictures to the Bugle, and at a Unity festival or some shit.
It's like a world, like, culture festival.
I think they call it the World Unity Festival, but yeah, it's like a cultural thing. But they're supposed to announce the sale of Oscorp
because the board is like saying they're taking
they're voting him out.
Norman, yeah,
and they're doing well. The company's improving now because he's killed all their competitors, but it doesn't matter. So anyway, he shows up. The Green Goblin shows up to that Unity Festival to kill the board members. He throws that grenade. That grenade needs to be looked at more. It lands in front of them, explodes, skeletons. They're just gone. There's not.
So good.
It's crazy. Like, who's that? Fucking Oscorp could be selling that grenade.
Also, he knew that his son and his girlfriend were up there, and he still gave no Fs.
Yeah, he doesn't care about his son, I don't think.
Yeah, he still did. Anyway, insert Spider-Man. Spider-Man saves Mary Jane.
That's their
for the
first fight.
time.
The first time he saves Mary Jane. Oh, I forgot to say, when that cuts, or when the Spider-Man time jump happens, as it's like zooming in towards his costume, and you're getting the very first camera view of his swing, it plays Uncle Ben's line over. With great power comes great responsibility. Remember that, Pete. Remember that. It's fucking fire. Like, chills. Anyway, so Green Goblin and Spider-Man are at odds now. He's on him. Harry's secretly dating Mary Jane. That only really matters for the overall trilogy. I don't know that it matters that much in this movie. If you watch the whole trilogy, obviously, I think the love triangle comes into play quite a bit. So Green Goblin tries to recruit Spider-Man. They have that cool fire scene. I really love that scene.
That's my favorite scene.
That scene's awesome. Like, he shows up to save
my baby.
Yeah, that woman is so distraught. She truly feels like sad about her baby. You don't know if he's gonna do it, but he does it.
What's crazy is that he saves the baby's life. They try to arrest him, and then there's an old lady screaming, which we later find out it's the Green Goblin. But they're like, "Go ahead, and then I'll be here when you get back."
Yeah,
like they're gonna arrest him anyway.
Chief.
Yeah. I think that's important because that's where Peter gets the cut on his arm. And so then it's that day is Thanksgiving Day. So they go to Harry's for Thanksgiving, and Norman realizes that Peter is Spider-Man.
Yeah. And then so the Green Goblin in his head tells him they have to attack his heart, and so they attack Aunt May. That, I guess, doesn't do enough because once he finds out about Mary Jane, he takes Mary Jane.
I just want to point out that when Aunt May, when her house got blown up, you started laughing.
Because I've seen it as a meme so many times. You know, it's very quiet. She's praying, deliver us from... And then it's just fucking...
And he's like, go ahead and finish. She's like, deliver us from evil.
My God. I do want to say, Jameson, the whole movie's obviously, his whole route is to be like, hey, Spider-Man sucks. When Goblin shows up at the Bugle to find out who takes a picture of Spider-Man because he can't read, Jameson protects him. Yeah. Peter's in the other room, and Green Goblin's holding Jameson by his throat, and he's like, I don't know who takes the pictures. They come in the mail, I swear. Like, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He just is wrong, but he's a good dude. Fun fact, there's a comic where Jameson does know he's Spider-Man, reveals that he knows he's Spider-Man. He's like, hey, I always just held you to a higher standard because I never wanted you to, like, turn evil. Like, I feel like we need you. Anyway, they have their final battle set up because Goblin sets it up to where he's holding Mary Jane on one side, and on the other side, he has a tram car full of, or cable car, like one of those things that goes by the bridge. So you hold those as who are you going to save? He's holding them on each arm, and he says you can only save one. Make a choice. Make a choice. That's from Friday. He drops them both. I really like that scene, even though it doesn't fucking line up right. It's cool because you see the reflection in his lenses. One side Mary Jane's falling, one side the kids are falling. And he immediately is like, I gotta do both. And he jumps for Mary Jane, grabs her, swings back under, and he's holding the fucking kids. He's telling her to climb down. There's a boat that comes by and is like, hey, we'll help.
Like, Green Goblin starts attacking him, too.
Yes, he's like flying by, and then he says he's gonna stab him, and you see.
Let me tell you, Mary Jane going flying off that cable and catching
and
it. The fact that she didn't, like, either number one separate her shoulders or number two was actually able to hold on while
stuff. I mean, that is
the grip strength
for real. It's crazy grip on Mary Jane. So. There is, like, a crazy strength happening there that I don't think gets talked about because he's holding that cable car with one hand. That's insane. And then Peter's doing both. Like, their strength is ridiculous. So, as he's about to get stabbed and he's holding them, there's nothing he can do. Luckily, the people of New York show up on the bridge. Technically because Green Goblin blew up the bridge and made them all stop. I think they really were there to yell at him about the traffic. It was unrelated to Spider-Man. They just were like, well, we'll help him too. But that scene wasn't always there. So after 9/11, Sony had to make a bunch of changes to the movie. One of the things they did is they recalled a bunch of teaser posters which showed a close-up of Spider-Man's face with the New York skyline reflecting in his eyes. I had that poster, by the way. Not anymore. Which pisses me off especially since not all those posters were recovered, and the ones that were still at large, highly priced. They cost a lot of money. You can't just get them. Anyway, I used to have that. Don't know where it went. Family trauma. It's probably gone. Anyway, so those scenes of the New Yorkers throwing trash at Green Goblin, they were added to show the city's sense of unity and patriotism. And I've mentioned that watching these movies, that every movie does that because they can't, like, ever let that go. As you know, we never forget, except if it's something to do with our shit-ass government that they do now. The original trailer for this movie, it also depicted a bank robbery with the robbers making a getaway in a helicopter, and then the helicopter just, like, abruptly stops, and it shows you a zoom out, and the helicopter is caught by a web in midair. They had to get rid of that because the helicopter was suspended between the two towers. So they just got rid of that whole scene in the trailer. Like, there was
a big... It had to be hard because there's probably certain portions of the movie where he's, like, swinging
There is. It's in there still. They just didn't... Yeah. They took out what they could. The rest they left.
Yeah, I was going to say they took out the portions that people would probably be the most triggered by that you could absolutely just tell, oh, those are the Twin Towers.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, after the New Yorkers, Green Goblin does eventually get Spider-Man. They fly off into this abandoned building nearby. They have a brutal fight. I mean, Green Goblin is beating the absolute dog shit out of him. Like, every time Spider-Man tries to make a retaliatory move, web away, dodge, Green Goblin's doing flips. He's fucking kicking him, elbowing him. He knocks the shit out of him, and Spider-Man only barely gets the upper hand when he's threatening to kill Mary Jane. He's got a staff out of nowhere. I thought that was, like, right there at the end, he pulls out a fucking staff to stab him with. Like, where has this been? Did you have this planted here for this fight?
He did. He was planning.
But, you know, MJ and I, we're gonna have a hell of a time. And that's what drives Peter over the board. So he is able to fight back. And Green Goblin tries to manipulate him by pretending to be Norman. I do believe there's a Norman persona there. Do you think so? Like, that wouldn't have done it?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it was actually there, but...
I think, if anything, like, the No Way Home even proves that Norman is a different person.
Yeah, I can see that.
It seems like in that moment he maybe has a little bit better control on it, no,
maybe he was, like, vocally he was Norman, but Goblin's controlling the body, reaching down. He presses a button that causes the glider to come flying at Spider-Man. Godspeed, Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man flips over it, and it impales him in his groin. Probably crushed that whole fucking bone. If
Yeah.
the stab wasn't enough, that shit's dust.
He dies. He says, Peter, don't tell Harry. Dead.
That's so sad too, but it is
Because
what
you
it
can
is.
finally see it. That is Norman, not
Yes.
Goblin.
Yeah, he knew it had to happen. So, after the final fight, Mary Jane professes her love for him. He turns her down because he knows it's too dangerous. You can see Harry's pissed off. He blames Spider-Man. When he sees Spider-Man dropping off Norman's body, he grabs a gun. He's like, what have you done? He blames him immediately. And, my power, my curse. Who am I? Spider-Man.
Who is he? He's Spider-Man.
That's it. That's
the movie.
The perfect movie. Everything about it's amazing. The comic book parts are great. It feels cheesy in the right ways where it needs to meet that comic book thing. But the way that they fuck Peter up, it's been mentioned before, nobody has done the damage suit as well as Tobey Maguire has. In the ends of his movies, when he's fucked up like that, it's crazy. I'm like, he's gonna die this time. Yeah. I've never felt that about Tom Holland. Now, granted, they did snap his ass away, and I wasn't expecting it.
I think that they probably are going to kill Tom Holland.
Well, they need to do the damage mask before. Don't just take off his mask. I get it. It's Tom Holland. He's so handsome. Just fucking let me see him bloody, missing some teeth with half his eyeball out. That's such a good look. It always looks good on Spider-Man. Anyway.
Obsessed. He's obsessed.
So the little game I want to play here is very simple. It's just, could they have handled this movie? If this is how it went down for them, I guess.
Okay.
Or mostly Green Goblin. Could they have handled him the way he was in this movie? Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker? You don't think so?
No.
You're right. He did lose against his Green Goblin, who was far worse.
Yeah.
Okay. What about modern Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, who's like, I don't pull my punches? You don't think you might just kill him?
I think that he would beat him. He'd get beat up quite a bit. But he would beat him in the end just because he has multiple years of experience.
Okay. Tom Holland?
I mean...
He did?
At a cost.
He'd kill him?
No. Well...
He did it.
You know what? I feel like if Tom Holland were to kill him, that's an excellent way to introduce the black suit.
Well, they'd have to kill him too, because that's too far. Shamik Moore, Miles Morales? Spider-Man?
I don't think he would.
Even with his powers, his invisibility?
Even with his invisibility powers, I don't think that he has
well
enough time to, use them at the right time, right places.
Okay. Haley Steinfeld. You see what I wrote for her? Thought you'd like that.
Gwanda.
Let's see, I marked out the Gwen.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Gwen Stacy. How would she do? She seemed rather experienced. Definitely
I think
more.
she'd put up a fight, but I still think that she would lose.
I'm going to say she would win. I think she could do it. The way she took on that vulture from...
I guess that's true.
I feel like he was moving quite fast. Anyway, yeah. Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
Miguel O'Hara
would wipe the floor with the Green Goblin. Yeah,
he'd
no
bite
fucks given.
Jake Johnson, Peter B. Parker.
If his daughter,
Mayday?
if Mayday was in danger, yeah.
I could believe in him. He seems like a schlub, but he's not.
Yeah, I agree. I think that...
should this movie have a sequel?
Yeah, why not?
It should, and it does, and it's good. What's your pitch line?
The sequel is actually better.
Yeah, maybe.
See, it's not that this can't be the perfect movie if that movie's better.
Yes, it can. Sinners is also a perfect movie. And it doesn't mean other movies can't be. What's your pitch line?
Same, or different?
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, James Franco. I love the interview.
Sequel, Spider-Man 2. This is a direct sequel to this movie. Some time after Norman's death, Peter and Harry have grown apart due to Harry getting rid of the apartment and moving to his dad's penthouse, and he's now become a drug addict.
Damn, we're going dark. Hell yeah.
He started taking over the company. I'm thinking he snorts cocaine.
Yeah. Keep up.
Yeah,
maybe
keep
pills
up.
to be
and
more
then
modern.
Him and Peter grow apart because not only did he just say, "Oh, Peter, by the way, I canceled the lease." Peter doesn't have money. I feel like that would be the reason for him to move into that awful apartment that he does move into in the second one. Harry seemingly can't get over his obsession with Spider-Man and is eventually taken over by the entity of the Green Goblin, which also happens in Spider-Man 3. Kind of.
He uses the gas at the end of the second one, becomes the Goblin.
Yeah, I think the Goblin is more of an entity than... I don't know.
Still there.
There's a comic about it. Yeah.
I mean, Norman, what's his name? Willem Dafoe, loved doing this movie so much. That's why we see him in the second one, because he was like, can I come back? Is there anything we can do? And they shoot the scene of him talking to Harry.
Yeah.
But yes,
And
he has been less of a physical person in the comics before.
so that's the route I'm going. Okay. Meanwhile, Peter's loving life, being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You see him fight petty crimes as well as like some fan favorites that are just like Rhino. Like I feel like people always like that, but it's like
Maybe some
not a big
quick
villain. Yeah, just
yeah.
like quick villains.
They were gonna do that in the beginning of the fourth Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. They wanted to have him just dealing with Mysterio, who was gonna be Bruce Campbell.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Just, quick. Him and Mary Jane remain friends, but she eventually moves on, dating somebody new. Obviously, Peter's still, like, juggling school, a job, not doing well like he usually does. Okay.
Yeah.
Peter makes multiple attempts to help Harry, but because he won't reveal Spider-Man's identity, Harry pushes him further away. The Goblin, I guess the new Goblin would still be the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Attacks Spider-Man a few times, and as the new god, like Peter figures out that it's Harry and spends his spare time trying to prevent what happened to Norman from happening to Harry. He finds out that he can separate the goblin entity from Harry if he just like makes Harry seem weak. The goblin will look for somebody stronger, almost like the symbiote in a way. I don't know if that's how it's done in the comics, but
that's what happened. So it's your sequel.
Anyway, MJ obviously has to get kidnapped, and then she's gonna find out Peter is Spider-Man. Still gonna happen in this movie. And during the fight, Peter beats the goblin out of Harry. The goblin tries to attach himself to Spider-Man, but little does the goblin entity know, Peter learned how to resist it and destroy the goblin for good. Visit Harry in the ICU and insert next villain.
Like a teaser for the next villain?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't look up because I'm not super familiar with villains, but I don't know if it's just the Kingpin. Maybe Vanessa has a baby and he's in the hospital holding the baby, and they just bump shoulders or something. It doesn't
quite all right.
Yeah,
that would be the Kingpin.
That's what I'm saying. So something like that.
Or maybe he'd bump shoulders and Kingpin would just immediately start, when I was a boy, people would say, excuse me.
Yeah, he bumps shoulders, Kingpin punches him, it kills him immediately. Miles is there with his mom because she's a nurse.
Okay. Well, anyway, my pitch line, all hail the king.
Didn't say anything about my movie.
Oh, it was good. You want my reviews of your movie?
Yeah, we're supposed to do that.
Yeah, I don't really care for the ending. Felt very we just shoved in a lot of characters in the last 5 seconds. Miles, Kingpin, Vanessa,
no,
baby.
That wasn't actually the end.
Oh, okay.
Oh my.
I'm just kidding. I like it.
Just go.
All hail the king is my pitch line.
Yeah, Kingpin's in it.
Yeah. Not shoved in at the end, though. Also, that's the name of the movie. Spider-Man, All Hail the King.
Aragorn must be there.
So we start off with a news report. Good morning, New York. The finance world is reeling with the reported murder of Oscorp CEO Norman Osborn, who reportedly succumbed to his wounds that his son, heir to the Oscorp wealth, Harry Osborn, claims were left by the vigilante Spider-Man. Anyway, you start off with that news report, and then you see Harry meeting with a former business associate of Norman's as he prepares to run the company, Wilson Fisk. He begins mentoring Harry and guiding him. Meanwhile, Fisk International, which will be his company, begins a smear campaign against Spider-Man, helped alongside by Jameson and the Daily Bugle. So, we're going to see posters and just fucking extra news reports, just everybody Spider-Man murdered this CEO, we can't let him get away with this, You know how people care about CEOs when they die. Peter tries to keep his head low in his day-to-day, but his time as Spider-Man has grown far more dangerous as half of New York does not trust him, and the cops are uneasy with him, especially those on Wilson Fisk's payroll. So you see them constantly maybe shooting at him, or at least preparing to. One time on patrol, Spider-Man encounters the Black Cat. Walter Hardy, though, not Felicia Hardy. So Walter Hardy's the original Black Cat, her father. I'm going to do where him and Black Cat are not the same age. We're just going to have Walter Hardy about his age. Anyway, Walter Hardy's attempting to hijack several vehicles, and Spider-Man stops him, but the cops show up and they take in Walter and also attempt to take in Spider-Man as well. During a standoff with guns drawn on Spider-Man, a child starts to exit one of the stolen vehicles, and a cop fires. Spider-Man quickly takes action, absorbing the shot to protect the little girl. After this, Peter goes for an armored look, losing some agility but gaining durability. So the little girl will be Felicia, who will eventually be the Black Cat once her father is no longer. And I think you'd get a cool scene of him sacrificing himself. He's not going to die, obviously, but then we get the armored Spider-Man look. So he's wearing that silver, just metal look of his suit, but he's going to be slower. I think this would be interesting to see his Spider-Man with, because his Spider-Man always seems bulkier. Like, his is big as fuck. Like, he looks scary. So Peter begins to use his bugle resources to find out that Walter Hardy was hired by Wilson Fisk, and he's seeing just how deep the Kingpin's touch has gone. Like, he's involved in everything. You know, he's learning he's actually the Kingpin, not just a CEO. He tries to talk to Harry about how Fisk is not what he seems, but Harry and Peter have had a falling out over the pictures of Spider-Man, so he's just like, whatever, leave me alone. When Mary Jane is then hired to perform at a ball that the Kingpin is throwing for the police, Peter takes a special interest and picks up a job as a waiter for the evening. Ultimately, this leads to Peter sneaking off to learn more about Kingpin and finding the truth that Kingpin has taken interest in Oscorp due to their military applications and plans to repurpose them for the NYPD to deal with the rise in superhuman individuals. So it'd have to be some kind of mention of other superheroes existing in the world somewhere, but obviously Spider-Man's the main threat. And due to like the Green Goblin stuff, I'm going to do kind of what they did in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where you see that Oscorp is working on all this technology that basically create the other villains. Like at the end of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, you saw like Scorpion Tail, a Rhino suit. I mean, there is a Rhino, I guess.
They were teasing the Sinister Six.
Yes, so you're going to see shit like that, almost teasing the Sinister Six, but like I said, Kingpin's plan is to give this technology to cops to fight Spider-Man, and it's going to lead to a lot of dangerous shit. And, you know, I'd like a scene where you see the cops using some of the technology and they're using it against people and it's going poorly. And, you know, you see some of New York protesting, like, Spider-Man is not a threat. So, like, New York is just in chaos because of this, and obviously it's dangerous. So Kingpin, of course, discovers that Spider-Man is looking through his shit, or he finds Peter, I guess, and that'll lead to a battle between them. You know, Kingpin is big and bulky. I want Spider-Man to get his suit on. He's wearing his armored suit. He's big and bulky, and it would just be like a rough fucking fight, like it was in the end of the first movie. So before the battle is over, Fisk claims victory, stating that he hired a mercenary, Silver Sable, to learn who Spider-Man is, and if he wants his secret to stay that way, he'll walk away. Of course, Spider-Man can't accept that, and he steals the Oscorp files so that he can prevent Kingpin from using this. In the epilogue of the movie, we'll see that Spider-Man's identity is revealed to the world, and we'll see like reactions from Harry, Mary Jane, Aunt May, all of them. But meanwhile, he leaves and he goes into hiding. And in an after-credits scene, we see him designing new outfits. So these are the outfits that he wore whenever he was pretending not to be Spider-Man, like the Hornet outfit, stuff like that. Because he's gonna pretend that he's not Spider-Man, so he can keep helping, but also he's got to go into hiding because of all this.
Dango Mango, nice.
What did you think?
It was good. A lot of characters there, but
I did have Silver Sable, Kingpin, Felicia Hardy, Walter Hardy. Haters will say I had too many characters.
Well, the good news is it's a needless sequel, and if they want, they can come up with their own.
That's true. Thank you so much for listening. We do so appreciate it. If you want to talk movies with us, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and Blue Sky. We are Nanspod everywhere.
Nanspod.
If you'd like to vote on whose sequel idea was the best, come by our YouTube channel for the polls, or you can let us know your idea across our socials or at needlesssequel@gmail.com. Links, as always, will be wherever you are listening. If I could ask you for one thing, it's to share a show with someone, leave us a review. That is how we get new listeners. Of course, I also ask that you come back for more Needless Sequels. Next week, we'll be watching Ghost Rider on Disney+. Take care of yourselves, everyone. We will see you next week.
Bye!